Big leagues and over the moon.
Welcome to the Landing Strip with Nick Lynham and Mikey Garcia, presented by From Financial.
Happy Thanksgiving and welcome back to the Landing Strip, presented by From Financial after the Winnipeg Jets take another Thanksgiving afternoon matinee in the win column this afternoon. That is back-to-back wins for the Winnipeg Jets this weekend. And in spirit of those Toronto Blue Jays who play in just over an hour, and we're gonna want to race over to that one after this show. Are we calling this the bullpen game for the Winnipeg Jets? They get multi-point efforts out of Logan Stanley, Tanner Pearson, Morgan Barron, and Nino Niederreiter. They get a big start out of Eric Comrie. This wasn't the formula we've seen through the first two games. The Winnipeg Jets depth really carries them to a big win versus the New York Islanders. Let's talk about it. Mikey, how you doing today, buddy?
Doing pretty good. Happy Thanksgiving to everybody here up in Canada. Happy Indigenous Peoples Day down in, if you're listening in the States. That was another fun matinee game, man. And what are you talking about? Depth scoring, backup goalie, penalty kill. It's exactly how we drew it up for the Jets, right? This was good on a game where the top line wasn't as dominant maybe offensively as it has been in the other games or what we expect it to be. They found a way to get a bunch of depth scoring and contributions from some unsung heroes. So they're going to need to win any way they can right now, and that was a good example of it. That was great.
Definitely a good example of it. To let Scott Westman know over on YouTube, we unfortunately are not giving away a free turkey dinner this show. Great start from him, always busting our chops.
Make a note of that for next year.
Let's get into it, though. Which year, like how we always start off, what was your big takeaway today watching the Winnipeg Jets versus New York Islanders? And then we're going to get over to Choice's big takeaway over on Twitch.
There's a lot of storylines kind of woven throughout the game today, and we're going to touch on all of them, I'm sure, as we go through. But one of the things that just kind of really grabbed me right from even before puck drop is I was curious to see how Eric Comrie was going to settle into the net this year. Behind a defense that, is already missing one of its biggest pieces in Dylan Sandberg. Then you go out and lose another depth piece in Hayden Fleury. You've got guys playing on different pairings with different partners that they're not used to, on their offhand for some of them as well, which has become a big thing in the NHL nowadays. I was real curious to see how Eric Comrie was going to take this start, and if it was going to be, the calm and kind of settled in Eric Comrie we got used to seeing last year, who honestly made me a fan. Or if it was gonna, if there was gonna be a little bit more panic in his game. And man, Comrie looked great. I thought he kept the Jets in it, especially on that very first, I think it was the very first shift of the game, first 30 seconds, having to make 3 point blank stops all in front. He was locked in right from the start. So I was real happy to see Comrie put in such a real good effort. He kept the minute, made huge saves, and didn't look flustered or worried. He played a nice, calm game, and it's good to see for the Jets, who are going to need, again, him to take some pressure off of Hellebuck going forward. And also for a guy who we got to know a little bit with his media appearances and videos and things last year, who seems to be one of the good guys in hockey. So it was, I'm a big Eric Comrie fan. I don't know if you've noticed.
Hey, perfect game to give him his flowers. Despite the 5-2 score, I did think that this game was closer than a 5-2 hockey game, and especially very early, right from shift number one.
Yep.
Eric Comrie makes a big save on, I believe it was Bo Horvat backdoor.
Yes.
Comrie was definitely locked in, and our resident goalie expert, the goalie himself, JPix29, agrees with us. So clearly, Eric Comrie had a nice night between the pipes. Gonna go over to Choices TK, who always leaves us a nice long message to start off the show over on Twitch before I get into my takeaway. Choices said expected results against what will be a lottery team this year. Sloppy at times, but opportunistic. Stanley has a positive impact on the score sheet, but is still overmatched even against a team that will be in the bottom of the NHL standings, and we'll get into that topic. Good to see Comrie get goal support and win after last year's struggles. He looks solid. And that was the thing last year, right? He couldn't get goal support to save his life, and people started getting pretty fired up in our chat about his play, even though he was pretty solid last year. Choices also says holds with the recipe that we'll have to work with the injuries out, goaltending, defense, and depth scoring. Keep banking as many points as possible. It will be a long season.
Yep.
And also said Schaefer looks like a player. Kid is more than a plus skater for a defenseman. So I want to piggyback off the Matthew Schaefer thing because outside of Winnipeg Jets stuff today, that was my big takeaway was Matthew Schaefer at 18 years old. Holy shit, to look this good this early in the
Unreal.
NHL is really impressive considering he only played 17 games last year. The Islanders have a real one to build a decor around over with Matthew Schaefer. His skating and his reads and even controlling the O zone as much as he did past just the skating. Really impressive player there in Matthew Schaefer. I
Yep.
agree with choices. On the Jets themselves, you touched on it, Mikey. Eric Comrie deserves a lot of love in this game. Um, but the depth showing up. The first two games, it was very much the top line, the Josh Morrissey and the Connor Hellebuck shows trying to will the Winnipeg Jets to victories. And then today, especially that fourth line, Morgan Barron. Is Morgan Barron going to be a rush offensive specialist this year? That goal he scores on that feed from Cole Koepke to go backhand shelf on Sorokin to get the first one on the board. Absolutely gorgeous to see. Power play 2, I think, was the better power play unit than the big unit today. And they got on the board with a nice feed from Gustav Nyquist, cross crease to Nino Niederreiter, in which Winnipeg's own Jonathan Taves gets his first assist of the year. Pajot makes a 2-1 game. And who answers for the Winnipeg Jets? Who gets on the score sheet for the Winnipeg Jets? Probably won't say this again all year. Logan Stanley jumps up and gets a pass from Tanner Pearson and beats Ilya Sorokin 5-hole. And then Tanner Pearson finds Nino leaving the box. Nino absolutely dangles Ilya Sorokin on the breakaway that ensues. And he drops the puck back from below the goal line to Tanner Pearson for his first as a Winnipeg Jet. The Winnipeg Jets getting an early season victory on the backs of their depth and their backup goalie, to me, is the big takeaway because we didn't see much from those groups through the first two games. And in my viewpoint, without Comrie, without Sandberg, without Perfetti, and without Lowry, arguably through the best, if not the best, defensive players for the Winnipeg Jets this year.
Yep.
Until this team's healthy, for me, it's all about surviving rather than thriving. And this is a big W off the back of the depth to keep on surviving this early season injury woes. What do you think of that?
Yeah, absolutely. Like JCoin204 says on YouTube, 15-1 is still on the table. And who would have guessed? Yeah, like you said, this was not the way that we would have guessed the Jets would have gotten to a W today, right? You look at it, you're expecting them to have to lean heavily on that top line to get that, power play 1 going, all those type of things. And it was the depth today. It was the backup goalie. It was, your middle six, which we're going to have to get to again because they're still trying to figure out what to do. Who's a second line? Who's a third line? Playing almost identical 5-on-5 minutes again today, and not a lot of them. So it's a work in progress for this Jets team. But like you said, they need to bank those points. No one's going to ask you just how many when the end of the season rolls around and we're doling out playoff spots.
Another thing I want to add, actually, that was missed there, because you kind of reminded me with it when you mentioned the low minutes at 5-on-5. This was very much a specialty teams battle. A lot of penalties in this one. 5 Winnipeg Jets penalties, 3 for the Isles. One thing, I don't know if it's just Winnipeg games. I don't know if this is going on league-wide. Does it feel like there's more penalties being called early this season? Like, I don't know, Winnipeg's averaged, 5 a game already? Last year they were in the under 3.
Yep.
Maybe that'll even out as time goes on here. But Winnipeg goes to 5 penalties today, or it goes to the box 5 times. And another big takeaway. Now through 3 games, the penalty kill's 14 for 15, a perfect 5 for 5 today. And I'm not a big CFL guy, but I remember the Bombers' defense at one point in time being considered bend, don't break. I see a little bit of a bend, don't break with this this penalty kill where the Isles found some pretty good seams today. They got some good looks, but it didn't break and cost the Jets. and they move on to 14 for 15 to start the year. What are you seeing from the Winnipeg Jets penalty kill?
Yeah, it's not only are they, like you said, 14 for 15. They've only allowed the one goal. They've scored 2 shorthanded goals, which is just, again, real small sample size, just these first 3 games, but it's exactly what they need. The thing to watch is, one, they're doing it with a lot of, Mark Scheifele. They're doing it with Kyle Connor. They're doing it with guys that aren't normally going to be playing on your penalty kill. To run this very aggressive power kill type of strategy. I think the reason they're relying on it so heavily at the moment is because there is no Adam Lowry, there is no Cole Perfetti, there is no Dylan Sandberg, guys that would be normally taking in a lot of these penalty kill minutes in a more defensive type of structure. You're not going to ask that of Mark Scheifele and Kyle Connor to try to become Adam Lowry and Cole Perfetti defensively. The thing is, I don't know how long this is going to last once those guys come back, if we're going to keep seeing them with this aggressive style. But, man, while it's working right now, keep riding it and hope it doesn't run your guys, too ragged. Beginning of the season, they should have lots of juice still in the tank, so it shouldn't be an issue, but just something to keep an eye on, I think.
No, for sure. Jumping over to the YouTube chat, some excitement over there. Our boy Mo, big Stan, first star. I did see that he got first star in the building, I think, in a game where his minutes were spent mostly in the D zone, but he had 2 big moments in it. Might be a generous one, but it's nice to see him impact the score sheet positively. We'll leave alone the D side for that pair. I thought it was a pretty tough one at 5-on-5 for those two. We saw Colin Miller get back in today. Played his offhand. Didn't play a whole lot, especially after taking that penalty. But I continue to see stuff in his game, his compete level. Him walking the line is probably the second best defender on the Jets. And then his compete level to actually get back on plays and compete in the D zone, I think he's an upgrade on all of Fleury, Shen, and Stan, and would like to keep him in the lineup. We'll see where Fleury's injury goes. But it's mentioned in our chat here, and it's a good thing to mention. D-Labs points out, speaking of injuries, no update on Koepke, who left this game in the middle of the second. Great feed from Cole Koepke on Morgan Barron's goal, by the way. Want to shout that out. He blocked a shot, left in the mid-second. Who gets the call? Asks DLabs25 if Cole Koepke is going to be missing time. As that makes, 5 guys injured potentially for the Winnipeg Jets here.
Yep. I think in the short term it's going to be Parker Ford. That's the easiest spot to just slide him into, right? It's a guy coming off the 4th line. That's a guy who would be most likely always playing on your 4th line. He's already with the team. I think that is the easiest path, and I think that's the way that they're going to go with it.
Yeah, I think Parker Ford obviously enters and jumps on the 4th line, which is kind of the line that's fit for his skill set.
Yep.
I do wonder what they'll do as far as try and get a call up to spend time in the press box. Should it be longer term? I would imagine it would be Lambert, given he was the last one. But I mean, they do have a lot of depth forward types like a JD who you wouldn't mind sitting in the press box instead. With Lambert going down to get games in, with Clay coming up to fill in that Fleury hole.
Yes.
Curious to see what they do with the forwards, because obviously the younger guys in this system do need to play games, and there is no point in really calling them up to sit in the stands. And we both expect Parker Ford, given it's Cole Koepke going down, likely slots in for his first games of the season with the Jets this year.
Yeah, I think the Jets are comfortable with where Jonathan Toews' injury situation is being resolved, and that's why you're seeing Lambert getting games now with the Moose. If there was any questions about that, I probably would be guessing it would be Lambert still traveling with them, just in case they do want to slide a center kind of into that spot. So yeah, at the moment, I think you're going to see Parker Ford if it's just a 4th line fill-in for Cole Koepke.
Another question from the chat. Doug Henderson, good to see you in the chat. Doug says, what do you guys think of Chibi's game so far? I'll let you begin, Mikey.
I've been real happy with it. For a guy that's literally just beginning his NHL career, has only played a handful of games, up to this point. This is his first time actually being in the lineup. I think he's adjusting okay. I think we're starting to see some of the good things that are, available to his game, it's going to be bumpy. It's not going to be a smooth game all the time. It's going to be different during the games, right? You're going to have a lot of games where there's some good and some bad. So, so far, I like what I've seen with him being up. I think there's an NHL player there for sure for your middle six. And I think he needs the NHL games now, getting those reps in to see where that ceiling could possibly be. So I like it. I know I probably won't get my wish, but I'd like to see him stay up once Cole Perfetti is back in the lineup, because I think you've got something there that maybe they could work on opposing wings, but we'll see. How about you? What do you think? What do you think of his game so far?
I'm somewhere in the middle where I think like he doesn't hurt you as an NHLer. There's been some big like moment type plays in each game where I've been impressed. I'm impressed with him on the forecheck, how he uses his body. His play with the puck, I expect to be. I would expect better, especially the one thing is this is a guy we're hoping steals a role. This is someone that's going to be an easy send down. And at this stage, I would be saying that the Winnipeg Jets would be making the right move if the team all got healthy today and he was being sent down and the vets were staying up. I wouldn't argue against that myself right now. I think the big thing here is they need to, like, the big excitement about Nikita Chibrikov getting a look is if he comes and he excels and he takes a step, it could really raise the ceiling of this forward group. And I just haven't seen that yet. I think this team has a lot of solid forwards. And for me, he's just in that group rather than kind of stepping up and grabbing a job later down the road. So I think there's been some good and some reason to be excited. I think there's been some downsides that haven't been great. And hey, we're only 3 games in. We expected the second line to take some time to gel. I just haven't been as like, wow, with Nikita Chibrikov's game as I've seen elsewhere. I was getting some DMs wanting him on the second power play unit, and I just didn't quite get that because I've really liked how that second power play unit has built a bit of an identity for themselves, as we've talked about.
Agreed.
They come up with a big goal today, and I just don't see him really impacting those things right now, whereas I think he'd be the easy one to send down at the moment. We'll see where it goes. It's still early. Him and Taves have connected a few times. And if that starts to go, that changes the whole conversation. I just think it's a little early here. There's been some good. There's been some good. Some bad.
Yep, totally agree. There's still a lot to work on there, but
this is a good one from Fat Tony to point out because this is an area he can possibly impact the team that I did not mention. Fat Tony 202 says Chibs has been one of the Jets' leaders in zone entries, which is obviously a skill they lost a lot of in this offseason. Not much offense off of them, which has been what I've really noticed. But that's the skill that Jets lack. So that is a good point from Fat Tony 202 on what he does bring in that regard of the game.
Yeah, and you want to be putting yourself in those positive offensive situations as much as possible. It hasn't paid off yet, like you said, but it's been 3 games.
Not much.
That is the tiniest sample size, right, for a guy playing in his first opportunity at an NHL full-time schedule. So, yeah, I still think there has been enough good there that the experiment should keep going. I do. I think there is a good middle 6 player there. He's just got to have it come together. And that's got to be hard when, again, not only is it your first crack in the NHL, but it's guys you haven't played with before, and it's a guy who also hasn't played in 2 years. Like there is so many layers to what's going on with that line in the middle 6 in general that I'm not surprised that he hasn't completely taken over yet.
I want to get to the middle 6 here in a second, but I want to give a shout out over on Twitch to Mr. Cramping Canadian. Let's go. I'm pumped for another year of Jets hockey and Top Line Media as well. Great performance from the team today. We're pumped to have you over on Twitch. We're pumped for another year of Jets hockey.
Hell yeah.
We're pumped for another year of these shows and getting to chat with each and every one of you. But back to the middle 6, because I was thinking about this. So, like, I'm personally a Morgan Barron believer. I'm on that side of the Morgan Barron coin, as you know. But I've keep pushing back because at the end of the show we got he should be the 2C combo, and I wouldn't mind seeing Morgan Barron get more minutes. Now he got 15 plus today. That was a good amount of ice time. I think where I'm ready to come to like the middle ground with some people in our chat is maybe the swap or the thing to look at is Barron and Vlad potentially switching holes in the 3 and 4C spots. and
Yep.
injecting a little bit of what Morgan Barron's bringing early on in the season into the middle six, and having Vlad potentially play on that fourth line. I want to give Taves as much time here to really get those offensive looks, be in that situation as this year goes on. We're not expecting him to be a 4C. He's going to be 2 or 3 right in the middle of this thing. Morgan Barron, I wouldn't expect him to be the long-term answer at 2C, but if there was a spot he could elevate his game into, maybe it's Vlad's spot right now.
Yeah. Fat Tony 202 over on Twitch says, if you think Barron's strength is his ability on the rush, which they do, it's him in transition with his speed, the Jets can really hide his weakness moving him away from center. How do you feel about that? Once you've got a healthy lineup, does maybe Morgan Barron slide over to the wing on that fourth line as opposed to centering it?
I could even see him being Lowry's winger this year.
Or even up, yeah, absolutely.
Because what they kind of run into is when they get healthy, you're going to have Mark Sheffield, you're going to have John Taves, you're going to have Adam Lowry, and then you're going to have one of Vlad or Barron. If that's how Barron's going to get some increased ice time, I wouldn't mind seeing Barron on the right side of, let's say, Nino and Lowry potentially.
Yeah, I'd be all for that. That'd be an interesting look.
Al Camino points out no one missed Ehlers more than Vlad. I think Vlad's had a tough start to this season, going from Ehlers and Perfetti to Nino and Gus. It feels off. It feels off as a threesome.
Yep.
Obviously it's early, but I would be open to the idea of making that little tweak if you want to get Morgan Barron some more ice time.
Yep, absolutely. I was told to put down the drinks last year when I suggested, hey, maybe we swap Vlad and Morgan Barron, and I'm glad to see that Barron's making a believer out of us a little bit here. It depends on usage. Like Fat Tony says, do not use him in a center shutdown role. That's not that's not where Barron's strength is going to lie. But if you can,
until Lowry's back, they don't really have a shutdown group.
No, yeah, right. We don't have that in general at the moment, but there are ways to utilize the strengths that he does have, because they are some of the things that the Jets are missing, like that speed.
Definitely missing a bit of that speed.
Yep.
Another tough night on D, as expected. Come back quick, Dylan Sandberg. What did you think of the three pairs? What do you think of Miller on his offhand? There were some plays I'm not too high on it, but what can the Jets really do here on D?
There's not really much they can do at the moment until they start getting some people healthy. There's not much they can do. Miller you can tell he's not as comfortable defensively on his offside. He's just not. You can see there's a little bit of hesitation. There's a little bit of second guessing. It's not as just ingrained and innate that that muscle memory that you have playing on the side that you've been used to. So that was a little bit evident today, but I do think that if he has to do it going forward for a few games, that will get better. He needs to just kind of get warmed up, quote unquote, and kind of get used to that. And I think those little defensive things will start to get cleaned up a bit. His shot is still good. He can, like you said, he walks the blue line better than almost anybody on the team. There's one guy maybe who does a better job of it.
There's one for sure.
But only one is kind of what I'm saying, right? Like, I don't think you can really put anybody else there. And he gets it through, which is it's such a useful skill that the Jets, again, are missing at the moment. Just being able to it doesn't have to be a hard shot. It doesn't have to be some huge slapper, but he's able to find the Jets player in the front of the net more often than not. So I like having that ability back there. It's something the Jets are missing. He's their best option at the moment for who's healthy to be playing, for the six. It was a rough night off of that second pairing, the Pionk Stanley one, that one. And for both guys, you've got Stanley, who was, again, playing in over his head, which isn't his fault. He's being asked to play in a role that's not suited for him whatsoever defensively. And then you've got Pionk, who feels like he has to take on the world and do everything, which is when he's at his worst, right? Pionk has looked his absolute best when he's got Dylan Sandberg there to let him relax, let him kind of take his mind off of what's happening behind him and focus on moving that puck. When he's got somebody else, whether it's Fleury, whether it's Stanley, whether it's Miller, he feels like he's got to be Superman, and it doesn't work out well usually. So another rough night kind of just overall from the 3, 4, 5, and 6 I just don't know how it gets any
I would-
better without a big a big injection of health.
I thought the top pair was off tonight too. Like I think the Winnipeg Jets did a very good job taking advantage of their opportunities today, scoring on the power play, getting another look at the end of the PK that turns into a breakaway at even strength. The Jets were very good at capitalizing today, but I did think this was another game at 5-on-5 where the Islanders were probably the better team. They controlled the Jets zone more often than the Jets were controlling the other way. And it's where we kind of talk about Eric Comrie getting the praise. I agree with you on the Miller stuff big time. Luke Shen, I thought, had a rough night. And one thing he's been not bad at when he has time is he's not that bad of a puck mover for his play type. He just can't move. And there was some where he just put it on the Isles tape and it ends up back the other way, and then they get stuck. The Logan Stanley Pionk pair has a real tough start to this one where Stanley's overcommitted up high, and then like you talked about, Pionk's trying to do everything, and he comes sliding all the way over, which left, I believe it was Bo Horvat backdoor for Eric Comrie to make a big save on. Stanley has two moments that stand out on the Barron goal. He's the one that gaps up and gets kind of the block shot in the battle that he creates, and it goes the other way. And then obviously he scores 5-hole. I'm guessing Sorokin wants that one back. But I thought that was a night where that pair did really get hemmed. And when they get hemmed, they have a real tough time reading the game defensively. And it becomes a bit of a chicken with your head cut off situation. And good for Eric Comrie for standing in there because there was a lot of good looks in the middle of the ice there. I see Tony saying it on Twitch. The one thing I do wonder with DeMello, the skating looks a step slower. I do wonder if we're hitting his age curve and regression curve, and if we are, that is a pretty tough thing for a decor that can't really afford it. But I thought he looked a step slow in a game where I thought the Jets' pace wasn't too bad for the first half. So I am wondering about the DeMello thing. But yeah, until Dylan Samberg gets back and there's trades later in the year, not much you can really do to change that. You just got to survive. This early stretch is all about survival until you get those three defensive players back in Perfetti, Lowry, and Samberg. And things look a little bit different when that happens. But we just know it's not the Winnipeg Jets thing to be letting a team like the Islanders get 30-plus shots against, and a lot of them being quality looks.
Yeah, 100%. One of the big problems that we have with the DeMello thing, even at a fully healthy, Jet squad, and you've got Samberg back there and everything else, who do you replace DeMello with? Who are you going to put on that top pairing with Josh Morrissey on the right side? Like they don't have another option at the moment. Even with DeMello's kind of struggles to start the year off here, I don't know where else they can go with it. I think, like you said, they just have to survive. And hopefully they can start to shelter some of those minutes.
So we're going to go to the From Financial Faceoff in a second here, but I see Rob Somerville says, and I want to get your take on this, Comrie deserves the chance to play against the Flyers Thursday night, especially with the compact schedule. Because of the Olympics, not to mention Hellebuyck will be the number one goalie for the Americans. Your thought about that?
I kind of agree with the sentiment of the idea of trying to get Comrie as many starts as possible in a year that, you've got the Olympics. Hellebuyck for sure is going to be the American starter. I don't have any questions about that. The only thing is we're still super early into this season. I don't want I don't want Hellebuyck sitting too long in between starts as well. He probably would like to kind of find that early rhythm. And to have Comrie go again, I feel like would be just not the right time to find him those couple extra starts. But I do agree with the sentiment overall.
Yeah, it's definitely Hellebuyck against the Flyers on Thursday. That'll be 5 days in between games since he last started. And they do have a back-to-back coming up with Seattle and Calgary next week. So Comrie's going to get one of those two games. There's going to be spaces in the schedule. When you have that big of a gap and you have the best goalie in the world, like you want to limit the starts over the course of the year, and there's going to be better spots to do it on the calendar. I don't see Thursday as one of those dates. But we're about halfway through. Let's go into the From Financial Face-Off. We want to hear from you in the chat, or if you want to call in, the phone lines will be opened up. what do you think is the From Financial face-off difference in this hockey game? What brings the Winnipeg Jets to winning 5-2 against the New York Islanders? Let's get into the From Financial face-off.
Yeah, let's hit it. Right on.
Right on. Mikey, I'm going to send it your way, but to tie a knot on the Comrie thing, Caitlin over on Facebook says the fact Comrie started game 3 is a sign he's probably going to play more this year, and that's what I read into it before the game too. So I wanted to shout out Caitlin on that one, because I think that's a good tell as well.
Totally agree.
So, Mikey, what was your From Financial face-off in this Winnipeg Jets versus New York Islanders game this afternoon?
You know what? It's funny. We have some of the best listeners and viewers because, man, DLabs25 on Twitch, you stole it right out of my mouth. You nailed it. It's Eric Comrie setting the tone early with those big saves and the very first shift. I think it was 30 seconds in, 3 shots all on the doorstep, right in his face. Easily one of those could have been a goal. The Jets could have been down 1-0 in the first minute of the game. And it could have been a very different afternoon at that point. So it's Eric Comrie kind of just overall for me today. Again, I was real excited and interested to see how he was going to start off his season, and he's carried it over. And right from the very instant the game started, he was a factor. So like D-Labs over on Twitch, my From Financial Faceoff was Eric Comrie.
Hey, you guys stole mine, so I have to get creative on the fly here. I was going to go to Comrie today, too. I was impressed.
We should coordinate.
My From Financial Faceoff was going to be the nobody beats the brick Eric Comrie difference in this one. But since you guys went there, I do have another one on this day. We're going to go, today's From Financial Faceoff difference is the Kevin Cheveldayoff free agency. Tanner Pearson, multi-point game. Taves gets his first assist with the Jets. Nyquist gets his first assist with the Jets. Cole Koepke got his first assist with the Jets. All the signings from July 1 this year get on the board in a game where they needed the depth scoring. I'll go the From Financial face-off in game 3 is Kevin Cheveldayoff's summer.
The summer of Chevy. It happened. We did it.
The summer of Chev kicks off game 3, baby. Here we go.
Right on, everybody. So phone lines are open. 1-204-800-0409. 1-204-800-0409. Get on the line. Call the landing strip. Tell us you're From Financial Face-Off. Call and just say hi. Let us know how it's going and how you feel about the season.
So we got a few in the chat. Let's go through them. Starting off with Twitch. Fat Tony 202 says the From Financial difference is New York Islanders lacking of finish on the power play. They broke so many seams, no finish, and they did really do what they wanted to with the puck on a lot of those power plays, and they just didn't capitalize when they went through. That Matthew Schaefer, some of the seams he created on his own, man. I want to watch that hockey game again. I might tune into Islanders games just because of him. But that is a good point on that side of things from Fat Tony 202. I see Donnie Fester is in the chat. Donnie Fester here. Great to be back. Love the show. And Donnie, love to hear from you. I stole your joke to start this one off. Donnie actually texted me saying it was the bullpen game from the Winnipeg Jets with all the depth. So I got to give Donnie the credit there. Kyle Korsvelt on YouTube says the From Financial Faceoff is Comrie being sharp to start, or else it could have been down 2-0. So he's right in line with you guys, you and D-Labs. And also says that the depth scoring coming alive. Definitely a night they needed it to. Doug Henderson's From Financial Faceoff difference is Jonathan Taves in the faceoff dot. Caitlin's is the penalty kill was the difference again. Biggest positive so far. And that unit did go 5 for 5. Despite what we're talking about, giving up some seams, it bent, but it didn't break on this night, and they get through with a perfect 5 for 5 on the stat sheet. Terry Ferguson adds to my From Financial Face-Off about Kevin Shovelday summer and says, and Stanley scored. Chevy had to change his pants and light a smoke after he did. The breakout is here. Logan Orr, baby. Frosty Winnipeg says, I have no From Financial Face-Off, but I just wanted to say hi. And we
Frosty.
say hi back, Frosty. Always good to see you in the chat.
You stay cool.
Turd got me with that. Had to change his pants and light a smoke after he did. In which Donnie says, Sniper stand back and better than ever. I've seen that goal at the old Highlander a few times this year, I think. The 5-hole off the paddle.
Oh, so good.
So good indeed. And that is it for the From Financial Face-Off. Great to hear your input. Great to have the From family back on board. Any thoughts, Mikey? Where do you want to take this one before we got about 20 minutes here, but then we got a race to watch.
We got a baseball game to get to.
Here.
How do you feel about Fat Tony 202's comment that Fetz, Lowry, Kepke would be a top 3 defensive line in the NHL?
And the Jets are missing.
And the Jets are missing all of them.
Well, we know Lowry, especially the last couple of years, has been in that fringe of the Selke conversation, right? Like he's getting votes just down ballot. Me and you have talked up Cole Perfetti's defensive game, and then Cole Koepke and how solid he's been. He's always in the lanes. The only time he's been beaten that it comes to mind is when he took a run at Rantanen, and Rantanen was just too big and big boyed him, opening up the seam. Cole Koepke's a good defensive player. I could see it. He had some pace to that group too. Maybe that's a shutdown line we got to look at some point this year.
And then over on Facebook, John Michaels, the big unit, talking about the power play unit, is missing Perfetti real bad. How do you feel about that?
I can see it. So actually, I wanted to talk about the power play one today because I thought they really did struggle. And one thing I noticed is they would enter the zone and New York immediately sent 2 guys high to attack them, and it stripped them of the puck and they sent it down. Every single time today, They were very aggressive up high, and maybe the idea of Cole Perfetti being an outlet and a guy that can control the puck better than a guy like Alex Iafallo, who the puck's a bit not as soft on his stick. I could see that. I could see that case because that was the one thing that was evident today with that group was they would cross the blue line, the Islanders would send 2, and they would clear it each and every time. The second unit, exactly what I expect to see from them. The 2 big guys, Nino and Taves, just creating space in the middle of the ice. Gustav Nyquist, I thought, looked a lot better today. I thought this was his best game of the 3 as a Jet. And you saw him getting creative with space on that second unit. His net drive really creates that goal, and he sticks with it to pass that puck to Nino. They were looking to get shots through from Pionk, which we would expect. I really liked what I saw from that second unit, but that first unit definitely struggled today, and I could see the case for missing a guy like Perfetti with what they were struggling with.
Absolutely. Totally agree. And the last comment from John over on Facebook, that the Jets really need a Rasmus Anderson.
Ooh, I'd take him.
That would fill in that spot real nice.
I'd take him. Anybody with a pulse that could play top 4, I'd take, but I would definitely take him on the right side with a little bit of nastiness. Anybody with a pulse that could play top 4, though, I'm kind of in at this point.
We'll taking all comers.
To answer Rob Somerville, who asks, do we have an estimated date for Perfetti's return to the lineup? Nothing's really been said there. We were told it was an ankle injury, and it was week to week, which led to the guesses. And I don't know if it's been confirmed that it's a high ankle, which is normally like 6 to 8 weeks, depending on the strain. Maybe I'm not a doctor. And they haven't given us a firm timeline. I've just been running with the idea that it's going to be like maybe 6 to 8 from a high ankle. Maybe it's less. This one we don't know, Rob. I can't say I got this one.
Looking through, we haven't had any other updates since the one last week where they announced it just as week to week. So nothing else has come out since that point. We're just guessing at this time, unfortunately. I wouldn't expect it anytime soon. Still, if about a week ago they were saying week to week, I think we're still probably a little while out. maybe mid-November kind of idea, like D-Lab says over on Twitch. But I think for the next conceivable, few games, we're definitely going to be without him.
D-Labs is guessing mid-November.
Yep.
I do want to point out, though, on a night where they were a bit quieter than they've been, they had some good looks. I remember a Velarde look that was high-end. Kyle Connor creating the empty netter to make it 5-2.
Yep.
With 2.5 left to play. Great effort on the back check and to strip the Islander from the puck and then to feed that over to Mark Scheifele.
Matinee
Those
Mark.
two. What's that?
He's matinee Mark. I told you, these matinee games, Mark Scheifele's going to be on the score sheet. If you're looking for bets going forward, there's one to keep an eye on. Mark Scheifele scoring a goal during an afternoon game. He's matinee Mark.
So I'm gonna pulse check you here. 6 points through 3 games for Scheifele, if I'm not mistaken, top of my head.
Yep.
And 3 goals for Connor. 4 goals for Connor. 3 goals. My prediction was 90 points, Mark. 50 goals, Connor. How do we feel about both of those through 3 games here?
I think both are still on pace. I think they're gonna hit them. This is the year. Again, barring big injuries, if they play a healthy season this year,
Yeah, it's
I
gonna
think
take help,
I think they hit those numbers. I think they're gonna just absolutely crush. So yeah, I'm feeling good about it still.
Let us know in the chat. Are you over or under 50 goals for Kyle Connor and over or under 90 points from Mark Scheifele?
I'll take the over on both.
I think it's gonna be close, but I'm in this year. I think it's gonna happen.
You said good numbers. That's it's a close over under, but I'm all in on their counting stats this year.
Oh, the Velarde play was about 12 seconds left in the second. Pionk to Velarde, but Sorokin made a big save.
Oh, yes.
So they got the Flyers next. How do we feel about the Winnipeg Jets versus the Flyers coming up on Thursday? What does that game look like?
I wouldn't have guessed that today's game looked like this, so I'm not totally sure which version we're going to see, but I do feel like that's another winnable game for the Jets. I feel like that's one that they can still go out there and win, even with a bit of a depleted roster, especially with Hellebuck back between the pipes.
Shout out to Donnie, who had Casey 1+ point and Scheifele 1+ point. Love when a plan comes together. This was the first game this year I didn't take them, and I thought I was actually a genius until the empty netter.
They're going to be doing everything they can to stack them up this year, I'm telling you.
Well done, Donnie. Well done. The Flyers already seeing some friction between Rick Tocchet and Matvei Michkov's game. Who could have seen that coming?
Who would have guessed?
A team that's clearly in the midst of a rebuild. A team that I think the Jets, even through the injuries, match up well with.
Yep.
I think they make it a three-game win streak to start the year. My guess was by the end of Sandberg injury, they were gonna finish 500. If you could stack a couple here on a soft part of the schedule, that's all the first couple weeks or first 6 weeks means for the Jets this year.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna get hot takery until like late December, early January this year.
We'll wait till after Christmas, and then we'll come blow it up.
Yeah, Nick Lanham's being patient with it this year. We won't know who this team really is for a while. Let's enjoy the ride. Let's enjoy the just win baby segment of the season, because that's what this is.
Yep, and there's gonna be some games that we're probably gonna pull our hair out and go, what in the fuck just happened? But for the most part, if they're going to get production out of that top line, and every once in a while the depth is going to come through like this, it might not be as painful of a start. And like you said, right now it's just win. Just bank those points and get healthy.
Yeah, exactly. We talked about the importance of banking the points last year. This year, just stay in the upper side of the race until you're healthy, because those are three big pieces that they'll be getting back here. That changes a lot of what we're seeing right now.
Completely changes the outlook of the roster, not just how it's constructed.
All right, so I'm going to my brother's for the baseball game, so let's move into the 3 stars so I can get moving. Right. And I'm going to ask you what the score in the Jays game is going to be. But let's move into the 3 stars. Who were your 3 stars for the Jets versus Islanders on this Monday afternoon? I want to hear from you. Let's go.
Let's hit it. Right on.
Right on. 3 stars for you, Mikey, in the 5-2 victory over the New York Islanders.
So at my third star, I'm going to again this week give it out to an entire group, but not the power play this time around. Penalty kill. The way that penalty kill is aggressive, the way that it's structured, and the effectiveness has been incredible. This was a absolutely great game to kind of see what that group can do right now while they're missing some of their more consistent pieces back there. So I think they absolutely deserve the third star and the shout out. Number 2 star, I'm going with. I've been back and forth flipping on my number 2 and my number 1. Number 2, I'm going to go with Nino Niederreiter in the revenge game. He's got the points, that absolute sick pass to bring it out for Tanner Pearson there. That's 2 games in a row now where the revenge game has been, front and center, and I absolutely love it. So Nino at number 2, staking his old team. And he's been my guy this whole episode. Eric Comrie, number 1 star, kept them in it early, kept them in it with some big saves later on as well. I think it's a very different game if any of those early shots go in as opposed to Comrie shutting it down and being able to kind of quiet the Jets game down and get them back into it. So, Comrie, number 1 star, great job.
Hey, I like it. I like when you do the group stuff. That's a good tie-in. The penalty kill for 3, that's a good tie-in. Donnie Fester goes 3 Barron, 2 Stan, 1 Comms. I'm going to go a similar track. Honorable mention to Tanner Pearson.
Yep.
2.8 for Tanner Pearson.
Big night.
I wanted to get him in here, but I got to do the honorable thing. A goal and a block that leads to the Morgan Barron goal. Logan Stanley might not be able to do this again for the big goal scorer. Logan Stanley will be my 3rd star on this night. Big contributions on the score sheet. The breakout has arrived.
It's here.
Zdeno Chara, peak coming right when we needed it most.
Not the hero we wanted, but the hero we deserve.
After all this time, it's here. Number 2, I'm going to go Barron, man. He's had a big start to the year with the 3 big plays. Played 15 minutes plus in this one. I'll give Morgan Barron number 2. And number 1, Eric Comrie. Had some big saves, especially early, but throughout this game, as the team was still a bit leaky defensively, as we'd expect. Eric Comrie, nothing beats the brick, will be the number 1 star. Rob Somerville sneaks in a 3 Niederreiter, 2 Pearson, 1 Comrie on the way out. Donnie Fester has 6-3 Jays. Turb Ferguson has 7-3 Jays with Savage only giving up 1 run. Mikey, what's your score prediction on the big Jays game as we get out of here on this Monday afternoon?
I got it 4-1 Jays. Only 1 run is being given up today. He's going to shut that shit down.
I'll go 3-2 Jays. Savage goes 7. Vladdy comes up big.
Beautiful. Let's do it.
Enjoy the rest of your Thanksgiving, no matter how you're spending it. Go Jays, go. After a big Winnipeg Jets W. We'll be back Thursday evening after the Jets play the Flyers. One that I think they should make this 3. We'll see you all then.
Right on. Good night, everybody.